Welcome to a world of fantasy, a world of magic, a world of danger, a world where Thursdays call for scattered showers and 40% chance of goblin punching. This is the D&D world within the Retro Planet. The players include Kloolas Larspawn as Hom the Tiefling Bard, Jean as Crispy Bandek the Air Genasi Ranger, JayBrilliant as Veronan Fellsworn the Aasimar Sorcerer, Rikkaku the Sai-Krowe as Toba Thunderdon the Loxodon Druid, and yours truly, RetroKaiju as Drogar Bargash the Dragonborn Barbarian, along with MasterWabbit as our DM. We hope you're just as excited for this campaign as we are, so sit back, relax, and enjoy this adventure in the D&D world.
So let's go ahead and get started. Kiki, where can they find you?
You can find me on TikTok as Kloolas Larspawn, and I have officially made a migration over to Tumblr. I am also Kloolas Larspawn on Tumblr. I've decided to get rid of my Twitter because it logged me out of my phone, and that was the last straw. I couldn't get back in for some reason.
Fair enough. Jay, where can they find you, Scrubroski?
Well, they can find me a bunch of places. You can find me on Twitter at JayBrilliant. You can find me on Twitch, where I mostly reside, at twitch.tv/JayBrilliant. You can find me on TikTok. Actually, I forgot that one. I guess JayBrilliant. I'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah, I need to grab that. Probably needed to update some of the stuff, which we'll do for next time.
You're good.
Alrighty. RetroKaiju.
Well, you can find me in a few different places. You can find me on Twitter at It's RetroKaiju. You can find me on our Discord, the Retro Planet. Pretty sure we'll have a couple of links for those as well. And you can also find me on a new place called Space Hey. It's basically 2005's Facebook or MySpace, if you want to be more accurate than that. Really awesome place. Just getting into it, so yeah, give Space A check.
Excellent. And for the record, none of us expect it to be the Twitter killer. We're just there for nostalgia's sake.
Yeah.
Dang, TP.
So
It'll be the same as my Twitter, so both Twitter and Space Hey will be It's RetroKaiju.
there you go. Jeannie Beanie.
Yes.
Hi, Squidward.
Hi, Squidward.
You want to tell people where they can find you?
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter at _G926_. You can find me on Tumblr at G926. You can also find me on SpaceHey on spacehey.com/G926.
Excellent. And of course, you can find me right here on twitch.tv/Rikkaku the Sai-Krowe, underscores in between. You find me on Twitter at RoadrunnerMoose, and you can find me at youtube.com, also at RoadrunnerMoose. And of course, I too am also on this new Space Hey thing. I've done jack all with it since we started it. So, like I said, we'll have links provided for those for next week, or for the next time that we're here. MasterWabbit, where can they find you?
All right. You can find me on Twitter at MasterWabbit, Twitch at MasterWabbit, and YouTube.com/@MasterWabbit. I believe that works. I also have like a co-host and a Mastodon, but that's three's enough for right now. So I would like to welcome everyone to the D&D world of the Opulencia Chronicles. Sponsored by the Garignac Hard Rock World Tour.
Nice.
Garignac.
I had to throw that out.
Let's go.
Hold on, let me scroll up again.
If you don't know what that's about, watch the last episode.
Also, Garignac, that reminds me of Galaxy Quest with Tim Allen.
Yes, it's literally a direct
Yeah,
reference.
that's what he just said that.
What is it, Zoolander?
Anywho,
Oh,
so
my goodness.
before we get started, just a heads up, guys. This is probably going to be this week and next week are probably going to be shorter campaigns, maybe a little light on combat. I think is
We'll
what we said. Mainly, it's for me because I have a doctor's appointment. For those who are not aware, I won't give you the details, but a couple weeks ago, I had to go to the emergency room, and tomorrow is the follow-up appointment, and I got to leave pretty early in the morning. So,
Yeah. In real life stuff, that's basically it. Nothing tragic, nothing bad, just in real life stuff.
yeah, basically.
We do this for fun, not for a living. So.
And for the record, I'm totally okay. I'm fine. So, nothing to
Jane
panic
had.
over.
I believe Jane had something to say.
Who? What? Gene? Yes? Huh? What?
I was just gonna say, I also might be absent for the next campaign because I'm going to be going to visit my brothers.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll plan
Or
around
brother and his girlfriend.
Alrighty, row. Well, anybody else have anything they need to say?
No.
Oh,
I'm
wait,
good.
actually, well, why don't we just talk about like commission stuff? Because you wanted to do voiceover commissions. Crispy's wanting to do art commissions. I want to do voiceover commissions as well. So
Oh yeah. Well, I decided to start opening up voice acting commissions. I will pretty much say anything you want me to say, minus the obvious bad stuff. No racism, no sexism, all that other junk. And if you have a specific character that you're looking for, I have a wide range. Favorite ones going to Marvin the Martian and other things like that. I have a whole list of them. So if you're interested, just come find me. I'll be more than welcome to the ideas.
Absolutely.
okay, Gene, you were talking. Gene, were you saying something?
I was just agreeing with you. I was just saying, like, trust me, he does.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, to sort of promote myself a little bit. I'm open for DMs as well. I'm wanting to do safe for work stuff. So if you want me to say anything encouraging or be a horrible person as a character or just as whatever, I'm open for it. DM me either on Tumblr or on TikTok, and we'll discuss.
I too would like to do voice acting, but I don't have a portfolio. I've not really had any jobs that I have right now that I could share. I've got a couple voice roles in a few episodes of Retro Planet, but those are still being worked on. Once those are done, I can add those to the portfolio.
Yes, sir.
And one final thing, as this is kind of an issue going around, I'll just make this super quick. Please do not use AI voice for your work. Use actual actors. People put their hearts and soul into that stuff. There's only so much that that soulless data can replicate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The legal copyright issues as well. That's a little gray area you probably don't want to get into.
We're the real Mickey here.
Same thing goes for art. Like, guys, come on. I'm right here. Like, come on.
All right.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Jay, you got anything else to say before we carry on?
Nah, I'm good. Let's get into this.
All right, Wabbit, let's rock.
All right, let's do some attributions first to the audio. We're using The Pyre by Kevin MacLeod, and we're also using a ton of tabletop audio stuff. Links should be in the chat if Rikkaku's doing that right now.
It's already there.
All right, yep. So both these groups, artists, whatevers, they allow people to use their stuff through Creative Commons, but they require attribution. This is that attribution. And now, let us return to the world of Opulencia.
Woo!
It has been quite a night for our adventurers. Previously, they went into a cave to clear out some goblins, and several days later, they received a court summons, essentially, to be part of a court case of some sort. As they made their way from Wardbloom north to Port Town, stopped by for a couple of drinks, well, not really drinks, more or less food, and heading further north to Mesaville, the capital of the dwarven capital of Kovacia. As it was late at night and the court date was going to be for tomorrow, they settled in, tried to get some sleep. Alarm broke out. Something bad happened. They went down there and they took care of a bunch of rock golems. And as they returned, not picking up any of the sapphire, the ruby, or the gold left behind by the remains, they all went to separate areas. And we are going to start on the following morning. I think that's the audio I need. Starting with the boys. So, fellas, you are... So, at this time of the morning, what are... the smell of onion soup starts to grow and be more present as the day, as you know, you've slept real hard after taking care of a bunch of rocks.
Yep. So, yeah, definitely, Drogar would be, definitely waking up right about now. Just, he sits up, he starts yawning, just...
Alright, so, on the furniture, there's like 2 couches, a recliner, and there's obviously like the floor. Are you gonna be...
More than likely, he's gonna be the one on a bed.
Alright, so like, crashing out the couch, essentially. So, waking up from the couch. Wake up, you see Lynn, she's over there, she's, taking the pot of onion soup from last night and warming that up a little bit. And you see Brevins stretching up. Good morning, fellas. You happen to notice that he's just, waking up, just boxers and an undershirt of some sort.
Oh dear.
Sorry, not company. No, he hurriedly runs into the other room, and Lynn's is just like rolling her eyes. he means well, trust me.
Hold on. I can understand. This is his home after all.
Yeah, I mean, we do live here. And she walks out. No, I'm not gonna. No. What I just thought, I'm not doing that. All right, so she comes out. She's got I also want her to be in like in a boxer and undershirt. So come on, I can't just do the same joke twice, can I? I can and I will. So she's walking out. She's got also like an apron on, but she's got like an undershirt and boxers, very flowery boxers on.
Very flowery boxers.
And Liz is like no shame.
Oh, good boy.
Right. Yep, Toba, Veronan.
For once, Toba is not outside meditating. He's actually asleep on the floor. Because when he went to bed, he was a dinosaur. Now he's a mammoth. Lying on his back. In the exact same position as he was.
Are you still curled up in like the dog position?
No, he's on his back, his legs still twitching. Just...
Durgar's just gonna look over. He's just gonna be. He just.
Leg twitching a little bit.
So Durgar's gonna be that guy, and he's gonna grab his trunk and just wait until he.
All right.
He stops a little bit. He just snores louder from the mouth.
So,
Verona, this cacophony, along with the onion smell, has absolutely woken you up.
I was actually gonna say, Veronan's actually been up helping prepare the soup.
Oh, okay. Also in undershirt and boxers?
Yeah.
No, he goes commando.
No, not in my campaign, all right?
Okay, sorry.
Keep this wholesome. We'll save the nudity when we head up like the naked elf dance, but not now.
Save it for in like 442 days, guys. Come on.
Yeah, we're gonna do the
Three campaigns, no.
So he's gonna walk over. He's gonna look at Drogar holding Loxodon. Hold up a finger, walks over to the sink, gets a nice big glass of water, walks back over. Watch how it's done. and just fucking pours it on his face, trying to wake him up.
Does that work?
Does it work?
Drogar, do you let go of the trunk?
Oh, he's letting go of the trunk.
Toba immediately sneezes and the water splashes on Veronan's face.
Veronan just kind of like closes his eyes, slowly wipes the water away, and then kicks him in the face.
Ow! What the fuck, man?
Oh, so that
One
worked.
damage.
No. Unless you are intending to hurt him, don't roll for damage.
No, that was just like a little.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
Wake the hell up.
That would have been funny though.
One damage.
Hydrate or dehydrate.
What time is it?
Time for you to get up.
Well, no shit, Sherlock. What time is it actually?
My name's Veronan, not Sherlock.
I'm from the soup, boy.
All right, as you were saying this, Linz looks over to this strange device that has like hands going every which way, and she looks. I'd say it's about 8:30 or so. Your court date's in roughly 2 hours from now. Not
Don't!
time.
I'm amazed you
Don't-
can read
don't-
that.
Oh, it just takes a little bit of practice. And as she says that, the thing goes bing, 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 ding, ding, ding. Oh, it's 8:45 actually.
Veronan just stares at this and blinks and is trying to do the math in his head about how she was able to derive the time from a bunch of bleeps, bloops, and whatever the hell that thing is over there.
All right, go ahead and roll an intelligence check for me.
Okay.
Oh my god.
See, where I come from, we have watches. Not whatever that is.
He rolls
Oh,
in
no.
that one.
No, I already rolled in that one. This better not happen again. Swear to God, if I roll that one.
Roll it.
It's a 6. You are staring at this thing, and man, it's like you need some coffee or something to try and figure out what in the world this is all about.
This one requires coffee. Yes.
Liz goes, well, we don't have coffee, but there's some water, and she heads over to the fridge, opens up, she brings out some bread pieces that are in the fridge. We got some of this, we got some butter over here to try and, get something going, so that way by the time the court happens and all that, she's like very tired. Whatever happened last night with all the alarms and stuff totally threw her off, and not just because the DM is stammering. Brevin, yeah. So Brevin comes walking in, and he's in like full miner gear at this point. He's got the apron, he's got gloves on, he's got everything. He's like, "All right, love, I'm heading off to work." And Lynn's like, "Okay, take care of it." And they lean over, they little kiss, And Brevin goes, "All right, well, before I head out, I'll make sure you guys eat up your breakfast, because afterwards you're going to court. Have fun with that."
Oh, I love politics.
What's the politics?
You'll find out very soon, Drogar, my friend. And you will probably feel the same way.
Oh, snap. In real life, I just got a tornado warning.
Oh,
So,
God.
yeah.
Well, be careful, Wabbit.
All right, so let me just double check weather.gov real quick to make sure, do I actually need to run now? Or if I, because it was raining in real life, but not like harshly. So hopefully my phone is, okay, come on, double checking, inputting my, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I know I probably shouldn't be interrupting this with a...
No, this is important. This is...
Yeah.
I'd rather you not
Sorry,
die.
a tornado that may be hitting my house is enough for me to bail, all right?
Yeah.
I don't see anything according to weather.gov on my end. Forecast area looks green. Let me just double check.
I would keep
Radar.
that on the side just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
looks
change.
like, oh, it's way south of me, whatever this tornado is. It's heading over. All right. Yeah. So, severe thunderstorm might be hitting. All right. So if I all of a sudden drop, it's because the weather went to crap.
Sounds good.
Sounds
All
good.
right.
Not actually good, but sounds good.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Let me just open the window to make sure. Yeah, like opening the
you
window's
will.
gonna help me anything. It's dark outside. By the time I see the tornado, I'm already dead. So,
Hey,
It
Houston!
doesn't sound good,
It's
but it's
dark as
okay.
crap out
Like, we'll
here!
understand.
all
Totally
right. So
fine.
we are going to jump over to the women.
The
So,
ladies.
yep. So Crispy, Hum, the smell of even more baked goods is slowly permeating the room. And it's not just the pastries that were from last night. It's also like bread and muffins and like just I would say like a cacophony of smells, but that doesn't quite work.
Yeah.
So what are you two doing?
Hum is Hum has already woken up. She's just looking out the window, sort of admiring all the crystals and lights and what have you in the outside.
Yep, the crystals, green glows out there. There are, there's the big green crystal that's like in the center of this chamber, but dotted everywhere along the houses, you see some, like small green crystals, kind of like porch lights or whatever, and some of them are like glow softer than others because of age or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Robin's like, "All right, you sleepyheads, you better get up before my sweet muffin over here eats all these pastries herself." And Candy goes, "Oh, please, Sugar Plum, you're not going to be the only one. I'm not the only one eating these."
Yeah, Hum giggles, and I'll see if Crispora is going to wake up anytime soon.
Oh,
If-
sure.
And she goes over and sees if Crispy is awake.
Oh, she is. She's been waiting patiently because she's rather excited considering she's had quite the sweet tooth for a while now.
Aww.
So,
No.
Sounds like you're going to be having some help eating those baked goods there, Ruffin.
I sure hope so.
Yes.
Right. Well, you've got a couple hours until the court date happens. Suppose you better get everything going, and then we'll walk you over.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay then. Thank you.
Yep. And he starts by, grabbing a tart that's there with a little blueberry on top. Chomps it. Oh my goodness. Oh my little croissant. These are absolutely delicious. You never fail. Full. And Candy, who's like got a full muffin in her mouth, going, "Oh, It's clear that these two love talking to each other even when their mouths are full. So, as we all get together, everyone's having their breakfast. I'd say about like 30 minutes goes by. So it's going to be close to 9 o'clock at this time. You have 1 hour to go until the start. All right. I won't start work until after the court date. I managed to work with the company to get that whole thing going. Candy's like, "Oh, you're so considerate of other people." And Ruffin's like, "Well, I mean, I'm kind of involved with this. You know already how." But and Candy's like, "Oh, yes, because you're the one who handed those papers they found over, right? You had to give your testimony." Ruffin's like, "Yep. You'll meet Thunderdon. He's a interesting character. I'll say that. But I probably shouldn't say much more than that. After all, witness tampering. Don't want to get." He's doing this thing with his hands. It's like, should I tell them about Tarvindale? Should I not? But you'll find out for yourself. But he's a good person. So, and on the other side, oh, come on, GM info overlay. Come on, be nice. I want to select all the characters that I just hidden on the other side. Later, token later. So then, the boys over here with Lynn's, Brevin, that soup has, that's basically down to gone. The bread's crumbs, and Brevin's like, oh man, you're gonna like this Tarvindale guy. Oh man, he's something. I shouldn't tell you too much because you never know, witness tampering and all that. I'm not too keen on all the exact things about all that. You could tell even he himself, the thing from last night, all the alarms going off totally threw off his schedule, and not just the DM stammering because I'm still worried about the tornado. Because you never know. Tornadoes are tornadoes.
Yeah.
I get you.
Yep.
Friggin',
Tornadoes
well,
really blow.
Drogar's just kind of sitting there just trying to figure anything out. He literally just asked what the heck a politics is. So he's just looking there, just scratching the top of his head, just thinking in real deep thought, like, What is any of this?
Everyone's just staring at him like, thinking like, is he still thinking about the politics? Seems like
You can practically hear the fried eggs that is his brain just cooking in there.
He just goes cross-eyed.
Sizzling.
He doesn't actually. He just goes cross-eyed as he just scratches the top of his head, just going.
Cue the Jeopardy theme.
His like jaw just like sticking out, making him like pucker his like bottom lip or something. Friggin' caveman.
You smell fried eggs? Or is that chicken? He like nods at Drogar.
Yes.
He just goes just a brief moment of yes.
Veronan kind of furrows his brow like, what? Just kind of confused, like, I asked that. Never mind.
You boys are ready to go. And he, stands up from his seat. All right, Linz, you take care of the place now. All right, fellas, I'll walk you down into the court.
27.
What?
He's not even thought. He just thought somebody asked the question.
Why don't you fix that darn thing already? Well, it's 9 o'clock. We may as well head out now.
How do you know?
Soon Veronan's gonna have the same brain soup as Drogar.
You gathered from what he said under his breath, like, why don't you fix that darn thing, is that it's not actually working the way it's supposed to.
Oh, he's under the impression it is. He's just stupid.
Alright. So, GM layer that. Brevin is leading you, opens the door, and he's leading you all out.
Hum asks Brevin really quickly how much
Hold on. You're not in that room. You're with Ruffin. Ruffin is
sorry,
leading
no.
you out. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I meant Ruffin.
Alright, Ruffin goes, all right, this way. Hopefully we meet the boys along the way.
Ruffin, about that stewed broccoli from yesterday, do you know how much it was? I want to try and pay it back before we go into the court date.
Oh, don't worry about that. My brother Brevin, he makes plenty from the mines. He's a very generous soul. So, I mean, after all, not to mention that he'll probably count this as like a work lunch because, of course, he will. He knows his way around the politics and taxes around here.
And on the flip side...
Even so, I would like to try at least.
Oh. Well,
He scratches his beard a little bit.
knowing Brevin, he would like you to pass it on to the next person, because he doesn't need help, but someone down the road on your path might. So,
I'll consider it.
indeed. Well, it's right this way.
And he starts walking towards the direction that you would presume is the court.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Brevin is now leading the boys over, and eventually the paths that Brevin and Ruffin take, they eventually coincide with one another. And Brevin's like,
How you doing, Ruffin? Oh, doing pretty good, Brevin. I see the boys are managed to survive Lynn's cooking.
Oh, screw you.
5.
Brevin's like,
Listen, buddy, I don't mind you making fun of me, but don't make fun of my wife. Ruffin's like, your wife is a very good cook. I mean, make no mistake, but she's not as good as Candy. Oh, not everyone can bake like Candy. Why do you think I married her? Because you're dumb. Oh, really?
it's like, at this point, the playful brotherling is like getting a little too tense at this point. Everyone's like, never mind. We got a court date for them to get to, so let's head on over to the court real quick.
Me without popcorn.
And let's get that, get rid of this. So, as they are walking towards all these stone you have the residential buildings, and they go down this particular alleyway that leads to a building that is very unique from here. Because most of the buildings here that are just residential, they're kind of like square blocks. Essentially, they look like huts on the outside, but when you go inside, there's actually carved out spaces inside for,
like neighborhood.
Sure, let's roll with that.
Do it.
And
Nice.
you go there. So
My bad.
Yeah, the residential areas are, relatively plain. This building that is appearing in front of you, on the other hand, is incredibly well detailed with runes and depictions of other dwarves, like sitting in front of what you would presume to be a judge's, whatever, it's not a throne, it's a, oh shoot. Of all the things I forgot to look up, it's like what the judge's area that sits in. Whatever.
Pavilion?
Sure, we'll roll with that. And there's all these detailed carvings on there on the outside of this very large, what looks like a wall, but there's a door on the inside, and there's doors open. They swing outward, and they're double doors. And there you see, let me just get the correct NPC out here. It should be this one. I said it should be this one. Thank you. Let me resize that for everybody. You see a dwarf walking out. He's got red hair. Looks like on his left eye a bit of a scar of some sort. His beard kind of like resembles that of a starfish almost. Like there's two sideburns that stick out and two longer front parts of the beard that go down to like his chest area. He's in a very well-tailored suit that is... I'm not too descriptive. I'm not J.R.R. Tolkien with my characters. I'm sorry. I'm not spending five. Yeah. And he walks out and goes, "Well, fellas, just on time." As he's looking at a pocket watch, just flips it away, puts it in his pocket. "Oh, yes, Prosecutor Tarndale. I know you, Ruffin." And Ruffin's like, "Yes, we talked a few days before. And these are the adventures you mentioned?"
I believe so that we are.
Oh, of course. Why else would you be here? Come on in. Let's get you to the waiting area so I can fill you in on some of the details. And you two gentlemen, he points to both Ruffin and Brevin. You're more than welcome to watch from the stands, of course. It's a public trial, but no witness interference or nothing. And Brevin and Ruffin, they both like shake their heads rapidly. No, of course no. Yes. If you five would follow me, please. And he gestures that you follow him.
And so Drogar does.
Lead the way, Matlock.
All right, Drogar, Toba.
I say that above game for the record.
All right. Actually, stick that there. Move that. Okay. So, as you're being led into this building, so outside the building, there's the murmurs of everyone running around and taking care of their business. You hear the tink of mining going on. As soon as you step past that mural wall, you are met with a very hollow silence of some sort. And it's loud, it's echoey. Like if someone walks in, the five of you are walking in, you can all hear your footsteps going. It is a very large, cavernous, almost cathedral-like interior. And Tarvindale is going up ahead. It's, all right, so the witness waiting area is just right up ahead down this hall here. Shouldn't take more than a few minutes to brief you on what's going on.
So, Drogar just kind of does what he's told and goes over to the waiting room.
Yep, you pass by a number of very busy dwarves that are like, murmuring about whatever cases are going on. And go down a long hallway that, all these walls have some weirdly intricate motifs that are on them about judgments being passed, and it's quite art. If you were to spend some more time here, you would actually be able to appreciate how dwarves do law here, but you don't quite have that much time. So Tarvindale opens a door, and it leads into a very red, kind of plushy room where the walls have a darker sort of crimson staining on them, but there are no carved motifs here. Instead, it seems like it's almost painted, where it's all these people sitting in what we would consider to be a juror's box. It's just artwork that's just been painted up there. Tarvindale's like, right this way, please, if you would all have a seat. And as you look inside, there are numerous seats and like couches and all that. They're all spread on the corners of the room. There's like 2 pews worth of like really fancy couches, and alongside the wall there's like other chairs and all that. It's very much comfortable for people to wait while they do witness testimony, apparently.
Is this what a politics is? If so, this is very close.
Politics. Oh my! I've had my dealings with the politicians down over in Lizardjack, but this is very quaint compared to some of the regality they have there. But that's neither here nor now. If you would all kindly pick a seat, and I can quickly brief you on what is going to happen.
And so he takes his seat,
All right.
just anywhere really.
Excuse me. Hum is going to nod and go to the back row and just sit quietly with her head down.
Okay. So we got Drogar seated, Hum seated, Crispy, Veronan, Toba.
Yep.
Toba's
Just as
gonna,
a. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Toba's gonna go ahead and just take a seat.
He's going to be more in the front. Drogar being in the front. Yes.
So,
What about
Yeah.
you, Crispy?
okay.
Crispy's just gonna go sit next to him. She's been finding much comfort in him recently.
Oh.
Aw.
He just passed her on the head. And just keep going back to figuring what a politics.
This is my this is my emergency comfort Genasi.
Aw.
Support Genasi.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you're her service dragon.
Aw.
Amazing. What about you, Veronan? What are you up to? Oh, did he go away?
Ronnie.
He's muted.
Oh, no.
Oh
Right there.
no.
He's back. He's back.
He's
Back.
back.
He's
Oh,
taking his place
you
in
had
one
it
of
straight
the more
there.
cushy looking
He's
seats.
taking. Okie dokie. All right, so I guess everybody's seated.
All right, and Tarvindale closes the door. Kind of gives a little. As he closes the door, you see on the other side of the door there are multiple locks on this door, and he closes it, and he only does like the top lock. The bottom three aren't touched at all. And so, right. Well then, is this your first time here in court?
Yeah.
Yes. Politics court. Yes.
Well, there's not really politics here. This concerns what happened down in the cave 1752893-7. You probably wouldn't know what that means. That's just minor talk. MINER talk. But nevertheless, he leans over to a wall and he starts going, so you are here to give witness testimony to what happened at the events of this cave outside of Wardbloom. Because right now, what we think is happening is that the Precious Mineral Coalition is not doing what they're supposed to be doing. In fact, we're trying to get some criminal negligence charges on them for currently not doing what they're really supposed to. I won't bore y'all with the details. And he grabs like a cup of water that just, a flask that's right next to him, just flask of water. Delicious. So,
Hey, I'm sorry, above game. Do I still have the papers that we collected, or did I give those up?
you gave the papers to Ruffin the day of that
Okay.
happened. So you gave the papers and the gemstone. You showed that off, and Ruffin took the papers and was about to grab the gemstone, but was like, "Nah, finders keepers."
Okay.
So that's yep. So then that gemstone went to Drogar. Drogar sold that to Philistine in Otto's Emporium. I keep some very detailed notes.
Very much so.
I could have sworn I did. I just wanted to double check. Carry on.
All right. Yep. So, Tarmondale's like, now I just need you to understand that this might be a bit of a wait. In 10 o'clock will go by, but the Judge Franklin, was it Franklin? Hang on. Please tell me. Yes, Judge Franklin. Phew, I remembered that.
Yay!
Judge Franklin is going to be here. Of course, you have to deal with the Attorney Havern. She's at this point, you see him sweat a little bit and wipe his brow. This case has been going on for several weeks now, and this is just the latest in a string of cave things that so far that Havern has been able to argue that it is just coincidences, unfortunate coincidences. But I hope that with your testimony, we might be able to bring the Precious Mineral Coalition to, well, justice.
Burger just sits there and shrugs, just goes, well, okay.
Yeah, I suppose anything we can do to help.
Hum is nodding, but she's really just distracted by the locks. The locks make her nervous.
And Tarvindale looks over and says, that's in case of, some people are not too happy when they're guilty. That's in case of a full lockdown. In case someone gets declared guilty for murder or something, and then they just somehow break out of the police escort and start rampaging through here. It's only a safety thing. One lock is just standard. Don't worry about the other 4. Was it 5? In fact, I'm just going to add a number every time.
Yeah, fair enough.
I could have sworn it was 3 before.
Hum just nods, not saying anything, and just puts her head back down, still nervous.
Yep. All right. Okay. I need to head into the courtroom myself. So he walks away and he unlocks the door. The one lock, opens it. If you really need to lock the door really quickly, just make sure you knock on the door 3 times, rapid succession. All those locks will go off. We have ways of opening it from the outside once the coast is clear. But don't worry about that. It's just going to be a bit of a wait, and the bailiff will call for you when it's your time in court. So, any other questions?
No, I'm good.
I think.
Hum shakes her head.
Toba just shrugs.
Veronan just crosses his arms and just kind of lays back.
Right. Well, shouldn't be too long now. I'll be on my way. And Tarvindale closes the door and closes the door. And now you are waiting in a very comfy room, waiting for a bailiff to come and collect you. So, in this downtime, what are you doing?
In spite of it being a comfortable room, Hum is visibly nervous. She's just staring at her lap. She's basically just staring a hole into her knees. Drum on the lap, along with the mallet she uses. She's just staying as still and as small as she could make herself.
Okay. And Drogar is just kind of just sitting there looking down at his knees, just tapping along with his claws to his knees, just kind of keeping his own fun right now. He just has nothing else really better to do.
Toba's leg is fidgeting a little bit. He knows he's not in any trouble, but of course, with him being a pirate, obviously being in an establishment of law does make him a little nervous. Even if he has no history against the dwarves.
Okay.
So.
And Hum has had a history of being locked in rooms as a sort of prank. She's just kind of nervous about that.
All right. Yeah, don't mind me. I'm just looking for the weather watch because tornado watch I just got 20 minutes ago. I'm a chronic worrier about that.
It's okay.
I'm looking at the weather map right now. It looks like it's passed by now, but still under watch, which is for those of you who don't know the difference between a tornado watch and a tornado warning, let's use tacos. Taco watches means all the ingredients for a taco are here, we just don't have a taco. A taco warning means, oh snap, it's a taco! Look out! If you know that meme, that's good. All right.
I understand.
I was born in Tornado Alley, so yes, I get it.
Yeah. All right. So at least for me, it looks like still under watch, but warning is gone. So phew.
Okay.
All right. So hopefully I'll be able to concentrate on the game and not screw up my notes. All right. So
Right.
as we are sitting and waiting, 5 minutes go by, 10 minutes go by. You hear every now and then you hear like a couple footsteps go past your door, past the door on the outside. And, you know, some murmuring from outside. 20 minutes, 25 minutes. A door that appears that you had no idea was looking at it because none of you were observing the room apparently. The door is like perfectly sealed to however the room is. So as the door opens up, you're all jump and you see a dwarf that is there with, you know, very fancy suit, vest. He's like, all right, will you all please come with me? You are to be, will the witnesses please come with me?
All right.
Okay.
While after initially just jumping back a little bit from hearing the sealed door open up, just nods, stands up, and follows along.
Yeah, Drogar just kind of looks over, just gets up and starts moving along.
All right, can I get a marching order from everyone?
I'll take point. Toba will take point.
Okay.
Veronan
I
will
think
follow
I'm.
behind. No imminent danger, apparently.
Mhm.
I'm just rearranging everybody here, sorry.
Hum will be in the back.
Okay. And I guess I'm guessing Crispy would be in front of Drogar, and Drogar would follow closely behind.
Yeah, just to make sure she
Alright.
can actually see.
All right, so as you all pull up in front, it is pretty much you all go into this very narrow hallway, and the door closes behind you. Bailiff, you know, closes it, and magically like takes his hand, and you see his hand glow a little bit, and you see on the inside of the door just a faint zip glow just zip around the seal of that door. All right, and you know, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me. He's, you know, this hallway is meant for dwarves, not for Dragonborn, a Genasi, an Aasimar, a Loxodon, and a Tiefling. So it's a little cramped.
I could imagine that. I could only imagine that Toba's probably breaking his back just to fit in the tunnel.
He's probably on all fours, probably crawling in.
Yeah.
No. It's wide enough for like 2 dwarves to go by, so it's like you guys take up like 1.5 times space, roughly. Except
Well, it's wide enough, but is it tall enough?
Tall enough?
Yeah.
It is. So how? Part of this, I'm like 6'4" in real life, so I'm like, man, I know really short ceilings, but I said the court has like really large cathedral areas. I'm gonna say it's. If you were to like stand on your tippy toes,
Holy
Toba, it would like brush against the top of your hair, but you have enough room to stand up straight. If you
Okay. All right, then we're good.
All right. Yep. But it's but there's no fancy artwork here. It's just like a straight stone hallway. And as the bailiff is like, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me, you know, takes his hand out again, and the strange green glow, and another door just opens up right this way. And as the door is opening up, you hear this, the murmuring of what appears to be a crowd there.
Okay.
Veronan's gonna look around, kind of look around the room to see what all there is in there.
All right, so go ahead and give for me a. Let me double check my notes. I want to say perception. Perception is such a useful thing here. Like
Question. Sorry, quick question. He's doing a perception check. Could I assist him with advantage?
Sure, go ahead. You can roll with advantage, or you can roll separately.
There we go.
What would you like to do? I'm gonna take.
I guess we both roll, and whoever gets the highest, we just go with that.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right, perception, go. Yeah.
Toba and Veronan are perceiving the room.
1
13.
plus 3, 13.
13, and for me, give me a sec. 17.
All right. 17. All right. From this room, Toba, you take a look, and as the door opens, you hear like there's the crowd outside. So it's a pretty small crowd out there. So presumably the court case that you are going to be witnessing towards has garnered some attention, but maybe not a lot of attention. And this hallway stretches down, back and forth for quite a while. There's a bend at one area. You surmise that it's very much possible that there's more than one court, and the reason why they had these strange magic doors is so that way, if anything should go wrong, no one can just find their way in or out without the without proper supervision, or because if someone were to like just go loose in this court, then all of a sudden, it's like, oh no, we need to lock everything down. So a bad guy like goes into this hallway and then is trapped because they can't find where the doors are. And you surmise that multiple witness rooms probably go out into this hallway of some sort that bends one way when you look down. So if you like from where you are, the door opens and on say your left-hand side, and then way down the hallway bends to the left. And as you quick glance behind you, you notice that the hallway goes out and bends more to the right. You probably guess that maybe this is like a ring of some sort, like a squared circle. No, not a squared circle. That's a totally different thing. Sort of like a square-style hallway where there are multiple courtrooms and, witnesses, could be stayed one place, and if they need to move the witnesses to another witness room, they can quickly do that if need be. But overall, other than that, like the hallway is just very plain. There's nothing really fishy going on here. It's very much a legal system with the dwarves. They take, security very seriously around here. Without being like, ostentatious with guards with like a million knives on them or something.
Very intricate defense mechanism you seem to have here.
The bailiff is like, he's just motioning for you to walk forward into this room.
Okay, fair enough.
He looks at Toba. He's just doing his job.
Yep.
Just make it a compliment, nothing more.
Yep.
I can only surmise these are in a place for, the dark dealings that might happen to disrupt the judicial system of. Okay, I'm just gonna stop.
The bailiff is like motioning you forward.
I get what you're getting at, Veronan. He just pats him on the shoulder and keeps going.
All right. So, as you are all passing through the door, you go into a courtroom, and the courtroom, why is this not working? Okay. You see Tarvindale is off to one side of the room, and you see a woman on the other side of the room. You presume that this is Havern that Tarvindale mentioned to you. And she is she's got a very no-nonsense look. Perfect eyeliner, by the way, lovely shade of green. And she's got a very tight knot on the top of her head. The sideburns that she's got hang down to like two little beads that are strung there. So you probably have gotten to notice that dwarven women around here, they don't really have beards, but their sideburns are really long, and they tend to decorate those or let them hang to be like more of their hair. And as you are walking in, you see that there is an old gentleman in very gray, like dark gray robes, and his hair is very much salt and pepper, very bushy eyebrows. And
okay.
Yep. And so, as you enter this area, there is in front of the so we got the prosecutor table on the left-hand side, the attorney table on the left-hand side, and in the center of this room there is a railing that just stands out there on its own, and the bailiff is out to please proceed to the witness stand, and he is gesturing towards this strange railing that is there.
Okay. Joker just kind of shrugs and goes over first, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So as you are walking over, this railing that is there, it is curved outwards towards the judge, and the judge is sitting on his what was it called?
Bench.
Bench, palanquin, whatever it is you want to call it. Hang on, I need to look this up. What does the judge?
Oh, it's literally called the bench.
Yes, the bench. It's like, please approach the bench.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sit at. All right. This is. No. Why are you just. No. Okay, courtroom layout. Thank goodness. Something that is here. Judge's bench. Perfect.
What?
All right. Oh, the defendant's on the left and plaintiff's on the right. Whatever, not in my court.
You're right, it's the people's court.
Yeah.
The people's courts.
People's courts.
Of course.
Title drop.
So you are all going up towards this area facing towards the judge, and normally there would be like the witness stand would be a box next to it, and you see next to the judge that there would be a place for like a singular witness stand, whatever. But there are multiple of you, and trying to get all of you to cram into one box is kind of not working. So this witness stand that you're on is literally a stand. So this is a bar that you can like lean on or something. And Tarverdale stands up. May I present to the court the witness testimony of these fine individuals? Please state your names for the court in front of Judge Franklin here.
Toba Thunderdon.
Veronan,
One at a
Fellsworn.
time, please.
I'll go first. Toba Thunderdon.
Veronan, Fellsworn.
Drogar Bargash.
Whisperer Bande.
And Tarverdale nods. All right. And Judge Franklin is like, indeed. Please, bailiff, the books. And the bailiff, returns, and he's got a whole stack of books on him. And he comes forward and is like, Judge, do we really have to? And Judge is like, so, would you please raise your right hands?
Right hand up.
Real talk, who's actually doing it right now?
What are these books something that Hum is told to watch out for?
Go ahead and roll for me a religion check.
Ooh, I got a +6 on this one.
All right.
Not that it mattered, I rolled a 3.
Hold on. So, wait for it to go through. Still waiting for the roll to go through. Oh, wait, hang on. Wait, no, you didn't roll through the program, you rolled in real life, right?
I rolled IRL, yeah.
Okay, so 3 plus 5, was it?
6. So I got a
that's
9.
All right. So So with a 9, you glance on the one side and you see the word Velith, which, from what you remember from Wardbloom, that's the Church of Velith. And there are other names that you quickly glance at here, and you surmise that these are all religious texts of some sort.
Okay.
So the judge is waiting for you to raise your hand, because I believe Drogar, Veronan, and Toba all said they're raising their right hands. And so to clarify, you're holding your palm facing outward up at your side. For those of you who've ever been to court, you probably know where this is going.
Yep.
Hum raises her. She moves her drum and mallet to one hand as she raises her own hand, but she doesn't raise her head at all.
All right, Judge Franklin is like, do you swear before your gods that you are going to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I swear.
All right, the bailiff, takes the book. Now, as the bailiff's standing out in front of you, now this is very much kind of for show. It's been tradition and all that, and they just want to make sure everything's good. The bailiff walks over to the corner of the room that where the door was that you entered in. Yeah, he closes that door, seals it real quick with the magic. The green magic zips around, seals it up, puts the books aside, and then he turns around, stands, hands in front of him. Just there to do his job, but in case things go down. So, Tarverdale stands up. Now, I present to you these fine witnesses, and they are going to recall the events of... What day was that? Hang on. DM is loading. All right. 14th of Buzzsprout. All right. Recalling the events at the cave in question on the 14th of Budsprout 3 days ago. So, he walks over in front of you, in front of the bar, and from the corner you hear the attorney Havern scribbling notes, just scribbling notes every now and then. And if you ever catch a glance of her, she is definitely looking like she's very disinterested in what is going on. So, Tarverdale. All right. Now, please tell us what started your course in this cave adventure.
I forgot. Oh my god,
This is why we take some notes, take some notes. This is why we take some notes. So
Toba, please help me with this. Oh my goodness, I can't remember shit.
Clears her throat. So, just to begin, we were told by our guild master that we had a job, and we were told to go down. We were told to go down, check it out. He surmised that it was a wolf, but after we went over, did our look around, we didn't find a wolf, but we did find goblins ready to ambush us.
As soon as you say goblins, the entire crowd goes like goblins. The Judge Frank goes, order in the court. Miss.
Hum flinches.
All right, Miss. And Tarmondale's. Thank you, Your Honor. Why don't we just slow down and take this one small step at a time here? So you say that the guild master gave you this mission. Who is your guild master?
Our guild master is Yuvin of the Wardbloom branch of Kavacia for the Adventurers Guild.
Indeed. Yuvin Alanade of the Ward Branch Guild. And he gave you this, saying that it might have been a wolf?
Aye. Well, he acquired this message, presumably telepathically. He told us earlier that he might not have had something, and then this job came in. And then he told us to go and check it out because it might as well have been a wolf. He didn't think it was anything of it, and then was surprised when we were there and returned with many a battle scar after the goblins attacked.
Right. Well, let us begin. So you say he received this telepathically?
Aye. At least that's what I assumed.
Yep. And from, as the court will know, and he pulls out documentation, this does correspond with the sending spell that was sent to a Ewan Alanade of Wardbloom. And from the, he says the name that I'm not going to make up because God so help me if I have to recall this. But yep. So, as the leader of the, let's call, how about Mr. Slate? You know what? Screw it, Mr. Slate. That's going to be the guy who is in charge. In charge of the mine. Mr. Slate here would have been in charge of this, and he feared for his life for some reason, surmising that something was amiss. And we may know why something may have come from. Hang on, writing down some. Multitasking is definitely not something I'm good at. Owner of the Wardbloom Cave. It's like I am so prepared for like the next 3 sessions, yet not today's. What's up with that? So now, as you all 5 of you went to this cave.
That is correct.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So, from Wardbloom, this cave would have been about an hour's march. So, what was the first thing you noticed when you entered into this cave?
It was empty for the most part, except with the exception of some sort of a trap mechanism somewhere halfway into the cave, and then some artifacts found within a small pool area towards the back before heading into the despots proper.
Right. Well, let's start off with this trap. You say you walked into here and you found a trap. Is that right? Could you describe this trap to the court?
Toba will look over to Drogar, knowing that he had a better grasp at it than he did.
Can you
It was a tripwire.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He kind of bonks himself on the head with a light fist, and he's like, "Oh,
Right. Yes, it was for some reason down there. There was a little trap, spring, like a string trap."
He's just He's stuttering the whole time as he's trying to recall anything. His brain does not work
At
tonight.
this point, you hear like some very furious scribbling over from Havern's direction.
But
Yes, as I tripped over the thing, the rocks from some other part of the hall tried to crash into us and landed in a pool of water.
Indeed. I'm trying to remember if you guys actually did trigger the trap or not.
No, we
We
didn't.
actually didn't. No.
I don't think we did.
oh, maybe. Oh, yeah. I thought
Well, it's too late to take that back now.
I know.
Oh,
I was like, well,
crap.
no.
And on second
Yep.
thought, I think we discovered that it was supposed to rocks down the thing, but I don't recall actually tripping it. My mistake.
Carbondale, like, wait, that'll be fine enough. You found a trap that would have been a string trap that would have led to a rock slide of some sort, as the court would agree that is what was found by the investigation team of some sort. However, it was not triggered as far as we can tell. And he glances over towards Havern, and Havern has, pretty much a stone cold stare. You swear there's a teeny tiny smile. Just a teeny tiny.
Toba's going to insight that, or would like to insight.
Oh, insight. All right, roll an insight check for me.
I'm inciting that shite.
Oh God. Oh, on my end, I can whisper as any number of the characters that I have made, and I've made characters for like all the major characters, so there's like 50 names on here. All right,
12?
Insight of 12. All right, you're getting a whisper.
Uh-oh.
Row.
Is this like on Discord or?
All right.
Hold on a sec. Is this gonna be on Discord? Is this gonna be on the?
This is. I can do this on roll. I'm doing this on roll 20 right now.
Okay. How do I look up Vespers?
Okay, I'm gonna send it to you.
It'll just go to you.
Mm-hmm.
It should just be in the chat.
Okay, standing by.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hopefully that works. Did you get it?
I did.
All right. That's a whisper. Don't read it out loud. Okay. So, Tarvindale goes, all right, then after you found this trap, you say there was a pool there?
That's correct.
And you there, Toba, you found artifacts of some sort in this pool. Would you please describe to the court what these artifacts are?
Well, there were. First off, there was a key that led into the area. But if we're going chronologically, I'll table that for now. The other thing we found was some sort of a gem. Somewhere in the within the pool.
Hum shivers at the thought of the moonstone.
Moonstone, if my memory recollects.
Yes, indeed. And then after you found these two artifacts, what happened then?
We moved further eastward into the cave, into the depository area, and ultimately that's where we ran into the goblins, which we dispatched afterwards.
Yes, and that is exactly what the events happen to be so far told to the court as of yesterday. As he says that, you surmise that this particular thing has been going on, as he said, this trial's been going on for weeks for whatever's going on. And while you guys, they were trying to piece everything together yesterday, but if they could get the witnesses here to share their side of the story, to corroborate things, and as he says, as talked about yesterday, their investigation team would have done something. Now, how they would have gotten past Ward Bloom and all of you guys, who knows? They're dwarves. And Tarvindale goes, all right, then, after you dispatched, how many goblins was it?
3, if I remember.
3.
Yes, I believe it was 3, yes.
Very,
Is we were wrong the whole time. Just kidding.
Hum hears the chuckle.
No,
And-
that's the DM chuckling, by the way.
Oh.
No, you hear scribbling, some furious scribbling coming over from Attorney Hobburn, and she's going like a very soft little hum. Not a hum, just a little chuckle.
Oh my.
I need to look back on it. It's either 3 or 4. Because one of them was cut. One of them had been cut down really early.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Crispy
burned to
shot
death.
one into the fire. Veronan blasted one into the wall. And I'm speaking above game. This isn't.
Yep.
Yeah, we're trying to recount the events. Just trying to think of how many there were.
Crispy shot
You
one.
were
Veronan blasted another.
freaking shooting one's brains out.
And sending it into the fire pit.
And Drogar sliced one. Drogar decapitated one. And Hum was spooked by one of them, and I can't remember if that was one that.
DM laugh.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how I test you guys take notes. All right. So then Tarvindale.
I think it was 4. I think it was 4.
Very well. And Attorney Haven goes, "Objection, Your Honor. Are these witnesses actually telling the truth? Are these witnesses reliable at all?" And Judge Franklin goes, "I need you all to recount carefully. Was it 3 or 4 goblins?"
I believe it was 4.
All right. And Attorney Havern looks over and goes, Tarvindale's like,
Wait a minute. I remember now. It was indeed 4.
right. So it has been a few days for busy adventurers. They certainly helped out last night with our rock monster problem, which I'm sure we can all thank them for, but later. So then after you took care of them goblins, what was the last thing you did before exiting the cave and reporting back to Wardbloom?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Hum.
We were in need of a rest. Toba and Veronan had sustained serious injury. Veronan in particular, having taken an arrow to the knee.
You hear a chuckle
We need
for some reason.
that he recovered from and is still journeying from. Thank you very much. And we just needed the rest. Otherwise, we would never have gotten back to Wardbloom to give the papers back.
Speaking of that, before we did leave the cave, we did double back to a doorway that we had found before heading down towards the spring. One of the objects, as I had mentioned earlier, was a key that unlocked the doorway into some sort of an office where we found the paperwork, which we then took with us back to Wardbloom and turned it over.
And these are the papers here, are they not? And he holds up a number of papers. He holds up what looks like, 2 floor plans, and he holds up 3 pieces of paper, all written in Dwarven, none of which you can read.
Of course.
Naturally.
Hum, I would like for Hum to cast a comprehend languages spell for herself so that she can actually read it.
Okay, so before you cast a spell, would you like to announce? So, are you telling me as the DM this, or are you as Hum telling the court this?
I'm telling you as the DM.
You're gonna cast a spell in the midst of a really high security court?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fair enough. Sorry.
Is it? Yeah, I wouldn't.
Fair enough. Yeah.
They have something to detect it.
Fair enough. I'll stop then. I won't.
Toba will nod. He's like, And confirm, yes, those were the papers that we found.
Yes, indeed. And as you returned to Wardbloom, did you speak to anybody about these papers?
We did.
And who was this individual?
We spoke with Ruffin.
Yes, Ruffin. I know I gave him a last name. I know I gave him a last name. Yes. Yes, Slate Stone. Ruffin Slate Stone, as we all know whom he is and his character and his witness testimony from several days ago. And, of course, he gladly obliged to overnight ride down to Wardbloom to pick up these fine people here. So, is there anything else you would like to tell the court about what happened that day?
Drogar just kind of shakes his head and no, basically everything's been said to his ability.
That is what transpired. Nothing more.
All right. Judge Franklin, the prosecution rests. And Tarvindale walks over to his little desk and he sits down. And he's like looking over to you and he gives like a quick little thumbs up, just very quickly. And Judge Franklin is like, "Thank you, Tarvindale. Miss Hubbard, the floor is yours." So now it's time for the cross testimony.
Toba's spine suddenly. Toba suddenly feels a shiver down his spine. Oh dear.
Oh, you definitely do. As she stands up, and she is very imposing for a dwarf who's only like 4'2", maybe. And so Tarvindale stood in one spot, and whatever. And Attorney Hawburn is walking up and down, just slowly walking by, much slower than what I'm doing here because I can just do this.
And then they kiss.
Yep. So, yeah. So Howard goes, "Judge Franklin, members of the court, and the jury." I forgot to mention there's like a jury of like 7 dwarves there, but they're not important.
Doc Dolby.
Yeah, whatever. They're just jury duty. Everyone wants to get out of that. So Attorney Howard goes up. "So, these events here, I will not doubt that these adventurers certainly saw some things that were there, and their actions, both on that day and yesterday, were brave. However, I cannot believe that this witness testimony shall be acceptable as admissible as evidence in this court." And she is going to... I'm trying to think, like, where in the world can I start poking holes?
Is Carmen Sandiego?
So, she walks up to you, Toba. She's looking at you. "So, the first thing you did in this cave was walk in and see a trap. Is that correct?"
Yes, ma'am.
"Really? In that case, how come our investigation team found a set of Loxodon footprints heading towards the office door, along with another set of footprints heading towards the door, implying that you had gone there twice?"
The office was right next to the trap.
"Really? Next to the trap? And yet," and as she pulls out the map, which I totally deleted from my computer, oops. And she pulls out the map. "You say that the office was next to the trap was next to the office, and yet she shows that there is the office. There was a hallway that was separate from in the cave heading to the east. There was a hallway heading into the office, but the way to go to the trap was actually further south in a separate hallway. So, oops."
Veronan is trying very hard not to slap his forehead like...
It's been 3 days and I got screwed up in that quest.
Oh, really?
No, I said that above game. I didn't say that.
Yep.
Too late.
You said you sustained injuries. How exactly did you acquire these artifacts from this pool, as you would say?
I literally delved in myself and grabbed them.
You dove into a cave of icy water. Ladies and gentlemen of the court,
Madam,
that is
I
the most
am...
insane thing that I have ever heard. And Tarvindale's like, objection, Your Honor, she's badgering the witness. And Judge Franklin's like, Miss Havern, I need you to calm down. Havern's like, indeed.
Also, I am woolly. I mean, just saying.
Water's still cold. Anyone here knows how not to dive into cave water. She is walking over, approaches Hum.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Hum tenses up her grip on her drum.
Hum. That is your name, is it not?
Is what I go by.
Havern, like, breathes in deep. You shivered when they said moonstone. Why is that?
Tis my prior teaching before becoming a bard, miss.
Prior teachings before becoming a bard. Tell me, why would a moonstone have anything to do with being a bard? As she's, like, walking more towards the center of the room.
It doesn't.
Indeed, it doesn't. At this point, she's like, hang on, she was about to make some really big point, but because you agreed with her, she doesn't have a leg to stand on.
I do have +6 in persuasion.
I'm not. If I ask for persuasion rolls, I'll ask for them, but this is more like role playing. Indeed. She walks in front of Crispy.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
3 dwarves? No, not 3. 3 goblins or 4? Why is it that your companions have such trouble with that?
Is Jean even...
Jane, are you there?
Jane, you there?
Jane is muted.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well,
You need to pay attention.
Attorney Havern is basically staring right asking you, why do your companions have such difficulty remembering if it's 3 goblins or 4?
I'm not sure myself, to be quite frank with you.
Perhaps I can possibly explain this. Is that one of the goblins was burned to ashes. Now, of course, that would be... Hang on. Do I want to rewind that? Because what am I trying? I'm trying to be both prosecutor and attorney here, and it's kind of difficult.
You're doing good, though.
I'm trying to poke holes. I'm trying to poke holes in your story. So one of them was burned, supposedly. How could you possibly forget that there were 4 goblins? I fail to see how 5 adventurers like you would even struggle against outnumbering them by 1.
She just doesn't exactly know what to say at this point. She's just looking down, I guess.
Indeed.
Situation before.
She's now walking in front of Veronan.
Veronan just looks her deadpan back.
I'm assuming, no, she's a dwarf. She's looking up at you.
He's looking down, deadpan.
Yep. Tell me, Veronan, why would you go looking for artifacts instead of clearing out the cave first?
Veronan closes his eyes. Then he opens them and looks at her. They seem to be important to what we're looking for. We were sent on an investigation. Any clue would be good for us.
You were told there would have been a wolf here. Obviously, you were not told about anything else from Mr. Alanade, who is Yuvan Alanade, that's like full first last name. So then, why would you spend your time looking for artifacts in a pool instead of taking care of the danger you were hired to do?
The wolves were not present. Something else was definitely there.
And how would you figure that?
The artifacts in the pool, of course.
The artifacts in the pool. And Mr. Tarvindale said, might I add that there was indeed a trap there, and unless wolves have gained sentience, we can certainly rule out wolves as a possibility. After all, if there were wolves in the cave, prior, they would have tripped it on the way in and out, but clearly something of intelligence would have made those traps. And at this point, Havern is just looking over at Tarvindale, looking back at you, Veronan.
He's right.
It would have been better coming from you. And she starts walking down the alley and stops in front of Drogar.
Oh boy.
So, you admitted to stealing a moonstone from the cave. Objection, Your Honor! And Tarvindale stands up immediately. It's like, that was not an officially sanctioned mine, thereby anything that would have taken from there would not have been stealing from the Precious Mineral Coalition. And Judge Franklin nods, and Havern looks back at Tarvindale. Oh, really? Do you really expect me to believe that this man here, from the Bargash family, the poorest farm in... Hang on. Where's that map?
Oh,
Looking for the map. Yep. Okay. Merkeith. That is the family farm place of Merkeith. The poorest for the Bargash family in Merkeith. The poorest. You mean to tell me that if he would take a single moonstone there, and yet last night he didn't take any of the gold, the ruby, or the sapphire from any of those golems? None of those. And she looks at you. You did not take anything from there.
No, I did not. I was told not to, and therefore I didn't.
Roll a persuasion check for me.
Oh boy. Persuasion. Performance persuasion. Here we go.
Hum is pissed off on Drogar's behalf.
19!
So is Toba.
So, she is trying to, shock you to make it seem like you're a little wavering, but with a 19, you just stare right at her steely gaze.
Oh yeah, he is definitely looking at her with the equal kind of angry stare. He just got offended by her fucking words. How dare you is essentially the expression.
Yep. At this point, Attorney Havern. No more questions, Your Honor. And she immediately sits back at her table. So Tarvindale then stands up. All right, well, now that the cross-examination is completed, Judge Franklin, will you accept this testimony as admissible in court? So this entire time, as you guys have been, telling the truth and all that, there may have been a DC that the judge now needs to roll on.
Oh boy. Pardon me.
All right. So at this point, Judge Franklin, while they may be shaky on some of the details, whether it was 3 goblins or 4, or the exact mention of events, yet it cannot be denied that these brave adventurers did take care of 4 goblins that were in a cave that should not have been able to get inside of this cave. Thereby, I will admit this testimony into the court record. And Attorney Havern, you just hear to scoff. And the crowd is going, ooh, ooh, ooh. And no, king, order in the court, order in the court. All right. And at this point, Tarvindale's like, all right, I would like permission to dismiss these witnesses. And Judge Franklin goes, permission granted. Witnesses, you may leave the courtroom. Bailiff. And the bailiff, he stands up. He opens the door with that zipping magic again, opens up. He motions for all of you to follow.
And so Drogar just goes follow. Just looking back at the lady and just snorts and walks away.
She looks at you, and you swear that her eyes from that distance, you can't really tell, but it's like her eyes squint ever so barely.
Okay, I see you.
As Toba leaves, he will match her sneer.
All right, as everyone is being let out by the bailiff. Right.
Yep,
so
being let
it's
by
in
the bailiff.
reverse order, so Hum is in the lead here. So, as you all go into this hallway, and as the door closes behind you, the bailiff steps that way. He's like, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me. Walks up ahead, And this time, instead of going to where you surmise the room was, you take that, at this point, it's a right-hand bend. Follows you outside the right-hand bend. He's like motioning you all to follow.
Yep. While we're walking, he just looks over at Toba and he just goes like,
I don't know about you, but I think she needs to lay some eggs.
Really? Alright. And as you walk forward into this hallway, it goes to the right, and then the hallway looks like it splits into a T of some sort and goes down to the left. And it's a little bit maze-like how you're getting out of here. For you followed Bailiff for about like 2 minutes or so, wondering like what is going on here? Like security here is weird. And then he stops in front of one spot and he does the magic with his hands, the green glove. He opens the door and he motions you to exit.
and so he does. He just walks right on out and watches the others as they follow suit.
Yep.
Hum nods and just steps out.
All right, and you step out into what's basically another hallway, but with the stone motifs that are there. And you see way down this hallway, you see that there are two very familiar women just chatting with each other for a bit.
Oh, okay.
They happen to look up, and Candy's like, over here! And, Lens isn't like, as enthusiastic with her wave. She still waves at you.
Oh, okay.
Hum looks up and smiles and is finally looking like she's relaxed, seeing friendly faces.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, so you walk over to them. Candy's like, "Oh my goodness! Oh, I couldn't stay inside the courtroom, but maybe Brevin would be able to have a hand." And Lens is like, "I wonder where is my husband?" And as she says that, oh, that's the wrong layer.
There
No,
he
he's not
is.
that. Yep, there he is. A little smaller than I would like. There we go.
There he is.
Brevin walks out. It's like,
Oh, man, it's not a lot of people can look at Havern and, not sweat bullets, but y'all did fine. Well, it's sincerely hope that we get some criminal negligence charge against the Precious Mineral Coalition, because that would be good. Oh, boy.
and Lens is like,
Oh, sorry, go on.
yeah, Lens looks up and is like, please, no politics.
But it's not politics, it's the truth.
Is that what a politics was? I don't like it.
Well,
Brevin's like,
we might want to talk more about this at the house. Linz, would you mind just follow? Yeah, Candy, wonderful to meet you. Linz, with me, and why don't we just I'll head over to my place just real quick.
Fair enough. He just kind of thumbs up and looks ready to go.
mm-hmm. So at this point, you were all following Brevin. Candy is like going along and say, okay, well, I'll be heading home, dear. So you all have a good time now over at Brevin's place for the night. And Brevin's like,
Thank
they're
you.
not staying the night. He looks over at Lens like, I didn't think they were going to stay more than one night. I mean, they're adventurers. They got a lot of stuff to do later today, right?
He just scratches his head and he honestly doesn't really know.
We haven't been given any. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Where's Ruffin?
I guess we're just questioning amongst ourselves at this point. So apparently not.
No,
We haven't
Hum is-
exactly
Hum
gotten
is-
word of anything else, so...
Hum is wondering where Ruffin is.
Ruffin?
Yeah.
Candy's like, oh, you're wondering where Ruffin is, dear?
Hi.
He's gone off to work, obviously. He's, out carting about, probably down to Port Town again.
Oh, all right.
So, yep. So Ruffin
He
has.
did say that at the beginning.
Yep. He had to go to work. So, yep. Brevin's like,
Well, not sure. It's
he's like, do we want people to stay at his house for like a second? I mean, having a friend crash on the couch for one night is fine, right? You can plan for one night, but for two, he's like,
I'm not sure, Linz. Well, at least we'll get them back to our place for lunch, right? Then we can see them on their way. I mean, they're fine adventurers; they can handle themselves.
Yeah,
Is there another means of returning back?
Oh, I mean, there's always the
what do they call it? The Royal Coach Service?
Yeah, the coach service.
Yeah, there's always the okay. Organization. It's not under. Did I not put it? I'm pretty sure it was like the Royal Coach Service. Why is it not? Probably a session that's old history. Oh goodness. Somewhere in my notes, I have it. I think it's the Royal Coach Service.
Yep.
For some reason, I did not have this here. Wait. Royal Passage Coach Service. That's where it is. It's under Covation Places for some reason. But yeah, the Royal Passage Coach Service. Yeah, you just talk to them. Just head down to Port Town. And then from there, you take another bunch of horses down to Wardbloom. I mean, it's 2 days of walking otherwise.
Yeah,
Might as well do that then.
he just kind of shrugs and just like, what else are we supposed to do?
Right. So at this point, as you are all walking outside the courthouse, you have been walking there. Candy goes, well, and you're at the divide where Candy has to go down to her house to the level, but Brevin's at the higher level. At least I think that's how it was. Candy's like, well, I'm off to, bake some more goodies. I'll make sure to I'll quickly bake some goodbye, gifts for all ya. Do you like chocolate chip cookies?
Yes, absolutely. Very yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, good. I'll quickly make up a batch real quick while you two talk with Brevin. And she's going to, she heads down, hurriedly over to their kitchen. Brevin's like, all right, Linz, let's treat him to lunch real quick. And Linz is like, okay, just for lunch. So they walk over and he, Linz goes inside. Brevin opens the door. Ladies first.
Hum again lets Crispy go ahead of her.
All right, so I'm assuming at this point everyone's like just following suit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So at that point, Brevin's like, all right, make yourselves comfy at the table. We'll he's like, if you fellas could help us out in the kitchen again, that'd be nice, because we do got some meat to grill over here and all that. And as he's opening the fridge, he's pulling out some stuff, vegetables, and he's like, I need to get to the groceries pretty darn soon. So as we're doing all this, y'all want to know about what's really going on with that court case?
Yeah, actually, I would.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it does involve some politics. So, Linz, you can certainly handle all this. And Linz is like filling up water, like turning on a stove or something, because induction stoves, sure, dwarves have it. She's soaking the fires with wood. Whatever I don't think that much about the technology of dwarves. They have indoor plumbing. That's about it.
Yeah.
And Linz like, okay. All right. So. The story about all that's really going on here with this involves the Precious Mineral Coalition. Now, there are numerous groups here within Dwarven culture that, have a bunch of, we all follow the same guidelines. You got to have all your samples taken. You got to make sure everything's done right, because there's only so much minerals you can find in the ground. You don't want to dig up unnecessarily or too quickly because, regulations are pain in blood, right, unfortunately. But the Precious Mineral Coalition, they've been cutting some corners, trying to maximize their profits. But unfortunately, this isn't the first case of goblins being in there. Although previously, supposedly, he's like scratching his head. How do I describe it? There's something's really fishy about all this. If goblins only showed up at one and wolves at another, that, it just random mines, but it almost always seems like it's in the Precious Mineral Coalition mines, which is weird.
Yeah, it does seem a little strange.
Yeah.
Well, the coalition, the third message that Rofin read to us, or that he saw in the notes, it would certainly explain the grievances if the coalition is certainly cutting corners.
Right. Well, here's the thing about that message, the cutting corners thing. Ruffin told you it was about hard, long working hours and too much of the sampling, right? He did just a little bit. It's like there was like too much work going on. But cutting corners usually means you don't work quite as hard. I mean, something about this doesn't quite add up, but I'm too busy with my work. And he looks over to the clock and he goes, ding. It's almost time for my shift, anyways. But Lynn's, I'll leave him with you. And kisses her around the back of the neck, and she's like, "All right, you fellas have a good day. You all know where the exit is, right? It's the big gaping door next to that giant, the big crystal will show you the way, right?"
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Please.
Well,
Yes, sir.
Little
Right.
hard to miss.
right. Well, I'm off to work down to my mines, so y'all take care. And he exits the room. And at this point, Lynn's is like, I don't know if we have enough of everything. Whoops, hang on. Nope. I forgot my keys. Don't worry about it. All right. So at this point, Lynn's is like, I don't know if we have enough vegetables. Is it okay if I just go out real quick and buy some vegetables real quick? You could all make sure nothing burns or anything.
Certainly.
Yep. All right.
Will you be needing company?
Oh, that's a good question. And as she pops back, she steps out, and then she pops back in. Wouldn't mind a little company, a little help for groceries if you wouldn't mind.
Certainly.
Sure, I'll actually go with you as well.
All right, so we have Toba and Hum heading out with Lynn's.
Looks that way.
All right. So we're going to leave the other three here. As Lynn's is like, follow me over here, and past the residential areas, down another hallway section, and this is a very busy marketplace of some sort. You've got stands that are outside there. You've got dwarves going like, fresh fish straight from Port Town, fresh fish. And Lynn's is like, if we just head over here, there should be some peppers, maybe a little bit of tomato to really pop out some stuff here. It's like, oh, hello, Everdeen, and she's like waving hi to all these other women who come by. And so at this point, she's motioning, as you step into what's essentially a supermarket. And there are dwarves over there, mostly women, doing their stuff. There's a couple guys here and there, picking up like totally unhealthy snacks. But Lynn's is like, so Lynn's is like, oh, could you pick these peppers over here? I think if we get 7 of those, that would be fine.
Aye, that should easy enough.
Yep. Okay.
Hum turns her drum out upside down so that it'd be easier to carry the peppers.
Oh, that's absolutely wonderful. We just need to get some tomatoes there. And she motions to Toba to grab some of those tomatoes. Toba, you still there?
Sorry, I was muted. So,
To say.
yeah, certainly. He goes to pick up the
So
tomatoes.
not all this Druid nonsense. All right, yep. So Lynn's is motioning over towards some very large tomatoes. If you pick 5 of those, that would be fine.
Certainly. He goes to grab the tomatoes. As
grab
he's
the
doing it,
tomatoes.
he's just looking around the vicinity of the market.
Yep, it's very much a busy supermarket. There are people going by, mostly female dwarves. Some of them are carrying baskets and they're putting like eggs or something in there. Others are carrying pushing carts and getting stuff. But for the most part, it is a pretty busy. Oh yeah, it's Fells Day, which is real life equivalent of Saturday. So yeah, of course it would be busy at like 10 o'clock. 10:38. That court case probably took. Yeah, it'd be close to 11, but not quite 11 o'clock. So yeah, this would definitely be some peak hour of some sort. And as Lynn's is going about, and she's, okay, so we got tomatoes, and she's putting like sprigs of, other vegetables on there. And she's like, all right, I believe we have enough. And as she reaches for her hip, and she's like, oh no, I forgot my wallet at the, oh no.
How much is it? I've got you.
Oh, it's probably going to be no more than a gold in total for all of that.
Easiest thing in the world. Old Toba's got you.
Thank you so much. All right, so she
so
goes
little.
up to the register, the register and the grocer that's there to do their thing. It's like, oh, hello, Linz, how are you? Hi, An, how's it going? And they chit-chat for a bit. Is that all? It's going to be 1 gold. And
Toba will reach into a satchel inside the coat with his trunk, pull out a gold piece, and set it down.
Oh, interesting. Loxodon. And it's like, oh, thank you so much. I'll make sure to pay it.
Of course. Safe to assume you don't see much of the likes of me here.
All right. And, so it's like, all right, let's head back to the house quickly.
Thank you so much. I'll make sure to pay this forward. My husband Brevin would absolutely want that to happen.
Don't worry about it. It's all right.
Oh, no, not paying you. Because I'm the poor unfortunate soul, but you're not. But sometime in the future, maybe some other poor unfortunate soul will need my help.
There you go.
Just
Paid it
help
forward.
each other, right? That's kind of how it works.
Yeah, paid it forward.
Yep. All right. So we're going to put you guys back, and we're going to put right back there, back in the token layer. And so rewinding time a little bit, Linz, Hum, and Toba, they all exit. And as you guys are like, all right, we're just going to make sure nothing gets broken.
Then everything gets broken.
Oh, no.
Freaking. Well, I mean, what Drogar would probably just be sitting in the corner just because he's the biggest out of all of them right now, and he's just afraid of breaking something. He just remembers a time where he accidentally broke a few plates back at the old home just by rubbing them too hard with freaking soap.
All right. So as the Hum, Linz, and Toba leaves, so Dorth, you sit down. You hear in Draconic, well done, to those who understand Draconic, which I believe is Drogar and Crispy.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep, I don't believe Veronan understands Draconic, so you just hear giggling and strange voice. It does sound familiar. It very much sounds like what was in the barn during the rat escapade.
Oh boy. Yep. He definitely recognized it. He's just looking around, just going,
Where the hell is that coming from? But Crispy, do you hear that too?
I do, yes.
and he just
Show yourself, you devil!
And right next to your ear, you just hear, very well. A dragon appears next to you.
Oh, crap.
However, this dragon's about the size of a Jack Russell Terrier.
Oh.
Okay.
So, just
Very wild.
Yep. Very much. Yeah. Okay. You wouldn't know that. You're not there.
I know.
So this dragon-like creature, it is. I think it's yellow. Let me just double check.
looks orange to me. I was gonna say it looks orange to me.
I believe it is. Oh yeah, orange. It is orange. All right, just double checking my notes.
Okay then.
Yep. So you have a small orange dragon that is sitting there. Now it very much has the dragon-like features of the long snout, but instead of the large bat-like wings, the wings themselves kind of look more like multiple dragonfly wings that kind of stick onto one another. So it's kind of like kelp, but made out of dragonfly wings, and it like shimmers as it like slowly flexes its wings, every now and then. And
does it need a butterfly to replenish its health?
No, it does not need no. It is not that kind of dragon.
It's basically the boss from Donkey Kong 64.
I'm sorry, I'm just.
So, yep. So at this point, it's like, well done, Drogar. Well done indeed.
Who are you?
He just points at it, just.
No, the guy next to force you. Who are you?
You may call me Puck. I am here on my master's behalf.
Master's behalf, and that would be.
Oh, that would be Oberon. I'm sure you've heard of the Feywild, haven't you?
Oh, you know what? I remember that. Yes, I was told a few things about that. With those elven ladies back at the bar. Yes.
It's actually, she's a drow. Don't look at me like that. I wasn't eavesdropping on your conversation. You could tell that woman blabs her mouth from a mile away.
Listen, I'm having a lot of trouble just trying to understand and remember anything at all right now.
He's right, you know.
Oh, well then.
My brain hurts.
Well then. You don't need to be smart, but you do need to remember this. And at this point, like this dragon is like crawling on your shoulder, going like to your other ear.
Oh,
And
God.
so, I just want you to remember this one thing. Oberon's gift for you is in the woods of Port Town.
Okay. Wait, a gift?
Like, he's just,
Indeed,
no one ever
a
gives
gift.
anybody gifts.
What's the catch?
Oh. And it's to the point he like flies to like one corner of the room, and it's like, oh, I see you are indeed amusing with are aware of the Fae. And as he's hovering in the middle of the room, is looking towards you. The gift is to make sure that sometime in the future, my my master, King Oberon, of course, there's so much to go over, but he may need your assistance. The gift is to ensure that you survive long enough to meet him.
Is that right? Okay.
He's just kind of, he's just wondering what the hell is even going on. Why is this happening? Who he's just a farm boy.
Oh, he's just a poor boy from a poor family.
Please spare his life from this monstrosity. I don't know why I sang that out of nowhere.
Thank God I'm a country boy.
We can't sing anymore, and now we're going to get knocked for royalties. So let's
Fair
86
enough.
that. So
Fair. The Port Town. Okay. Where do I go for a just
the woods in Port Town.
Just
Shall show you the way. Until next time, Drogar. Ta-ta. And in front of your eyes, Puck is there and then gone.
just fucking.
And the door opens, and in come Lynn's Hum and Toba.
Oh my goodness.
guys, please tell me I wasn't the only one who saw that.
Oh, hang on. What? Okay, so he disappeared now. All right.
He's gone.
Difficulties. Yeah, he disappeared. He's invisible.
You okay there, Drogar? You look a little pink around the tendrils.
I just saw an orange dragon just. It's right there!
He just points to the corner.
Toba looks, sees nothing.
Lynn's just looking at you like the weirdest look. Dragon?
It was a small dragon about the size of a dog with wings of a bug, and it told me to go to the Port Town woods for a gift from the Fae.
He's just trying to figure out what the hell even happened. He wasn't expecting a dragon.
I think you might need to drink some water there, bud.
Oh, I know it was real, but trust me, come on, tell me you saw that too.
I did. I certainly heard it. Yes.
Toba looks over at Veronan. Toba looks over at Veronan.
Hum starts humming to hopefully ease Drogar. She would be drumming on her drum, but it's being used to carry the peppers, so she's just gonna be humming quietly.
Thank you. Oh my God.
Did you see this too, Veronan?
Yeah, Veronan, did you see the Durgan?
Veronan's kind of interested now.
So, Veronan, you did not understand a word that dragon said, but all you heard, I think Drogar would have been communicating in Draconic to keep.
Yes, he would have the entire time.
Yeah, so you did not understand anything about this conversation. You just saw this orange dragon-like character appear next to Drogar, crawl across his shoulders, whisper something in his ear, fly in the middle of the room, and then disappear.
I do have to admit, it was alarming and concerning. But yes, I did see it. He's telling the truth.
Okay then.
You see? I'm not lying.
Okay, I need. Toba, could you help me put the vegetables and start chopping those up for me?
Yeah, sure.
Yep. As she puts it aside, she opens up a cabinet, looks at it, and goes 1, 2, They're all there. Oh, that's weird. Close it. And one of you would have caught an angle. It's like a wine bottle cabinet.
I can't get it. Oh no.
All right.
Oh, face. Got it.
Yep. All right. So we're gonna jump ahead a little bit in the story, just a teeny tiny touch, because at this point you're all preparing lunch. Lunch is prepared. It's all in front of you, and you all dig in. You all get enough, dinners. Not dinner, lunch at this time. It is about 11:30 or so. So at this point, Linz is like, "Well, that was very good. Thank you all so much for the help, Toba, for paying for the groceries. Well, I certainly wish you well on the further adventures you guys are going to go on. I mean, if there's any news from the court case, I'll be sure to find a way to let you know, or Brevin, or Ruffin, or Candy even."
And at this point, you hear a knock on the door. You hear Candy's voice on the other side. Are they still there? I have cookies.
Cookies!
He's just he's just quickly starts walking over, just trying to forget everything that just happened in the last 30 seconds. Freaking.
Yep, you go over and you open the door, and Candy's right there. If I can actually, what? Okay, on. Layer token. There we go. Why is it not? Oh, this thing. All right. So Candy's like, all right, here we go. And she's got 5 wonderfully wrapped handkerchiefs of all various colors. And she's like, okay, here you are for the road trip.
Thank you kindly, Candy.
Thank you very much.
Oh, they smell great.
All right. All right. Well, I can't stay for too long. I got to make sure that the house is, all safe and secure and all that. Linz, everything all right with you and Brevin? And Linz is like, yep, everything's pretty good. Candy's like, I worry about you sometimes. Linz is like, why? They're just like doing girl talk or whatever. And this goes on for like a minute or so. And Candy's like, oh, I probably shouldn't keep you adventures long. You got so much stuff to do. You need to head back to Wardbloom, right?
I think it's time to check in.
All right. Well, I can probably lead you out the way, although you do know where the big giant gaping hole is to the exit, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Brevin pointed it out to us. It's a little hard to miss as it leads directly with the main crystal.
Yep. All right. So at this point, yes, meow. Canonically, there's a cat now. Thanks.
Sorry.
We'll be wrapping this up soon. I'm trying my best to wrap it up. So at this point, it's like, well, I hope you all have a very safe and wonderful time. Until, possibly later. Take care. And she's like waving you off as, Candy's like outside the door, also kind of waving you off.
Take care, ladies.
Drogar, waves as well.
All right.
May the great Quetzalcoatl watch over you.
And they both nod. They kind of look at each other like, what's a Quetzalcoatl? They don't say that. They just give the look of like, what? Whatever. You think he's a druid. He means well.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So, as you are all making your way towards the obvious exit, you then reach to the top of Mesaville. Well, when I say top of Mesaville, what I mean, it's just the Mesa part of itself. And you quickly locate the Royal Passage Coach Service, because there's horses over there. And what would you like to do?
Well, I would suspect we all would get on, right? Yeah.
We'll go over and probably see if there's anyone there.
Fair enough. Yep. I skipped a step.
Yep.
Yeah, watch your step or you'll fall off the mesa.
Okay, no. It's up. No, not the cliff side there. No, it's all right. I'm trying to look up something because I need to figure out what the fare is from one era to another. Where is my art clip studio?
Yeah,
Yes,
somebody mind chipping in this time around. I had help with groceries.
Of course.
Yeah, I should have something in my sack. One moment, please.
Yeah, he just looks through. Oh yeah, of course he has like 7 gold in there.
I can definitely pitch it this time, of course.
Alright. Shoot, where is that image? Come on, D&D resources. I'm looking. I have. Alright, Kavesha map. There we go. I specifically made the map to scale, so that way I can quickly use my art program and use, actually figure out like how large something is. So from Mesaville to Port Town, just do some rough math. All right. And then doing some quick math here. 4 times 3. Gonna round that up a bit. Hang on, do some calculations.
Yep.
All right. Okay. So you walk up to the Royal Passage Coach Service, and the human pops his head out, and she's like, "Oh, hello, welcome to the Royal Passage Coach Service. How may I help you?"
Yes, we would like to rent a coach to go to Port Town.
Of course. And she's writing down. So that's going to be all 5 of you. You can all fit into one coach?
Yes, we should be able to.
All right, that's going to be 7 silver.
Of course. One moment, please.
He just brings out a single gold piece.
I hope you have change for a gold piece.
Oh, yes, of course. So she takes the gold and she hands you 3 silver back.
3 silver. Okay, so let's see. I will have to lower mine to
Lower
6.
gold by 1 and then silver up by 3. So, yeah.
Yep. Ding dong. Boop. And then add. There we go. All right, all done.
All right. Just wait right here. Your coach will be out momentarily. And she goes back and you hear like this. Get your lazy butts out here and get the woik!
Whoa!
I'm really curls up by that yell.
So, about a minute goes by, and a coach comes by, driven by 2 chestnut horses, and the driver stops, and he steps out the door. He opens the door, motions you all inside.
Yep. We go in. Drogar just kind of pets one of the horses on the head, just a light scratch before he walks over to the coach itself.
It seems to enjoy it.
Oh, yay! In any case, yeah. So we just all get in. I take it.
Yeah, Hum waits until everyone's in first before she goes in.
Fair enough. Drogar goes first. Crispy second. Toba, Veronan next, and then you.
Yeah.
Okay.
You all hop in. The door closes. All right. Next up, Port Town. As the driver gets back up, and you were all slowly trotting on your way to Port Town, where a mysterious orange dragon has told the Drogar that in the woods there is going to be a gift for him. What that gift is, we will find out next session because we are ending things off for tonight.
All right.
Awesome.
Howdy, folks. Thank you kindly for checking out the D&D World Campaign. If you want to catch us live, you can join us at twitch.tv/Rikkaku the Sai-Krowe every other Wednesday night at 11 Eastern, 10 Central, and 8 Pacific Standard Times. For updates, follow us on Twitter and Discord. All links will be in the description below. Want to watch another episode, or if you're just into retro gaming in general, keep it tuned here to the Retro Planet. Until next time, may the dice forever be in your favor. Peace, I'm out on the side.